What's going on, good people? It's your host with the most, Mr. Meyer with the fire, here to take the collective vibration higher. We're out here in nature today. Sun is in my face. It's golden hour. Venus Day Q&A part 5. I may be squinting a little bit, man, or maybe I'll just sun gaze the whole time. But I'm really taking in all the good energy I can get, gang. Today is a good day. Every day is a good day. There are no bad days. If you want to be real, really real, there's no good days either. But that also means there's no bad days, and ultimately you get to be the one to judge. So why would you judge the day is bad before it's even over? Something to think about. We're gonna bless the... What are we blessing it with today, gang? Let me know in the comments. Because I've been going through a storm, if I'm being honest. So much is going on inside, and I know because somebody smarter than me taught me this, and I'm gonna repeat it. It's way more important what goes out of your mouth than what comes into your mouth. And it's very important what goes into your mouth. You know, you need to... Sometimes I refrain from telling people what they need, but I can speak confidently as a human. You need to take in water at least sometimes. You need to eat at least sometimes. You need to take in the sun's energy at least sometimes. You need to take in some love at least sometimes. Apart from that, you know, it's debatable. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, guys. We're blessing the tree with the energy of Chiron to bring healing, awareness, and integration into our lives. Venus Day Q&A is about like a 2-part video, give or take, for the most part, I should say. I say, well, 3-part. First part, I say hi to my friends. Second part, we do a little bit of an energy check-in. We talk about the vibes, the astrology, what's going on today. And then we go through the questions. So if you guys enjoy this video, I love the like button. I love to be liked. There's wind right now, so let me tell you, face to face, just so you can hear what I say, because I'm sure this wind is loud. I love you. I appreciate you. You don't have to hit the like button, but it does help me out a lot, and it would help you out a lot if you do like the video. If you don't like this video, don't like it or dislike it, but if you like the video, YouTube will send you more content like this, basically. I'm thinking I may go to the store today and see if I can buy like a wind cover for when I'm filming outside, or maybe a different microphone. It's Mercury retrograde, guys, so I've been thinking about a lot of updates. You should see some quality updates as well when it comes to the content I make inside as well. I think before I go back home today, I should find some better lighting. That's been a little quest. I digress. It's a good day, guys, and it's been a crazy couple of weeks leading up to today. So we talk about that on the other weekly podcast, Mars Day with Mark. Feel free to watch it if you'd like. I'm gonna let you glance at the screen, at the chart. I'm just gonna speak from the heart, guys. We've got about 1 week left of Aries season before we go to Taurus time, and I cannot wait for Taurus energy. Shout out my grandma, shout out Debbie, Yesenia, Martin Luther King. No, he's a Capricorn, I'm tripping. Well, shout out Martin Luther King, regardless, that's a good man. Taurus is everything good. So we'll talk more about Taurus pretty soon and do an in-depth breakdown on that energy. But for now, enjoy the Aries fire, enjoy the springtime. Or if you're in the other hemisphere, opposite me, enjoy the fall. Have a good time, guys. Aries is new energy. So you might feel fired up. You might feel the passion. You might feel good. Or you might feel fucking terrible. I don't know how you feel. Let me know how you feel. Because, like I said, polarity. There's no good or bad days, but there are different vibrations. That's for sure. So if you haven't sat by a tree in a while, it's worth the reminder to get your ass outside, reconnect with your roots, the wind, Mother Nature. Go back to basics, man. Go back to basics, and just you'll receive the reminder that your life is good. your life fundamentally is good. Because I just want to say, guys, life is like life. Life is so crazy. Ooh, a deer. Holy shit. Hi. Frolicking, dude. I shit you not. I don't know if there's a way to flip the camera apart from like flipping it. So last time I tried to do that, it was awful. Some of you guys may remember, it was one of the Mars Day with Marks where there was a fox, and I literally 180'd the camera to show somebody, and I don't know if it actually come up on the screen, but I think you guys can believe I'm out here and there's a deer. At least one deer. Pardon me. There's deer, there's ants. I saw a tick on my blanket a minute ago, so be careful. Watch yourself when it comes to predators, parasites, bad energy. And I'm not trying to be negative, guys, truly. I really don't want to be negative. I don't want to harm anybody in this world. I truly have the capacity to harm. Don't get me wrong, man. Not only am I trained in MMA, I can fight and shoot. I had a hard childhood. And what I mean by that is, like, I learned a lot about emotional manipulation because it was used against me. So it's like, I'm one of the most dangerous people in the world. Don't get me wrong. But I choose to create peace. I choose not to harm others. I choose to help protect this world. I want to be very clear when I say this, guys. My spirit, part of my spirit doesn't even want to talk about this shit, man, but it's transparency in my life is that I have no fucking enemies. I recognize in my consciousness that all is one. I'm you. We are each other. What we do to ourselves affects each other, and what we do to each other affects ourselves. In good conscience and self-preservation, I choose not to harm others. I choose to help and heal others. I've made a lot of enemies being this kind person. Making this choice has made enemies on my path, guys, and this is the most confusing fucking thing to talk about. I don't want this video just to be all about my personal shit, so I'm gonna wrap up. It just got personal because it's Aries energy. I'm gonna wrap this part up really soon. We'll talk about some of the other planets and we'll jump into Q&A. But gang, this world is wild, and this is the message for Aries. Don't take shit personally, guys, because people can only project what's going on inside of them. Once again, it's way more important what comes out of your mouth than what comes into your mouth or into your field, because if there's no enemies within, there's no enemies without. If people do project, harm you, violate you, and you are there for yourself fully, you can't take offense. And it's challenging sometimes. I think most of us know this or have heard this at least once, but we have to choose to be offended by words, but the same applies for actions. We have to choose to be offended. And I've just seen so much harm in this world as I try to sit back, do my work, be mindful of others, and also be a non-judgmental observer. I just see a lot of people that are struggling with fear or insecurity or a lack of self-love that take issue with people having different thoughts, even regardless of people just being different, acting different. Sometimes people don't even want to see others think differently because it casts a light on them, makes them see their shadow, see their unconscious self-hatred, lack of love, or fear. I think the biggest one is unconscious fear, guys. I'm gonna wait for the wind for a second because this is a heavy idea. This is some air so light. I want everybody to catch it. It's unconscious fear. Or when people are unconscious of their power, they can project their power onto other people. And then when they see other people being powerful, they don't recognize their power, and then they get afraid. And that's where people lash out or preemptively self-defend, but it's offense because nobody's coming to get them. So this is my message to the world really quick before I go into the rest of the astrology / Q&A, guys. Nobody's out to get you, bruh. Sis, ma'am, sir. I don't know who needs to hear this, man. I know what it's like to be conditioned by trauma, pain, and abuse. Even if your mom and dad were out to get you the whole fucking time, no one's out to get you. They're only lashing out through their consciousness. Try not to take things personally in this life, man. Even when people use your name and tell you with their words it's personal and through their actions it's personal, just remember, man, it says more about them than it does about you, okay? And I don't bring this conversation up to deflect anyone's responsibility or accountability. You got to be responsible for you, but at the same time, you can't be blaming others. That's the bottom line, guys. You have to cast blame out of your life. I could skip the Q&A. I really don't want to, because the principle of doing the Q&A says your voice matters, so please talk to me. Before I get into that, I'm sharing what's on my heart, guys. If we want to move forward right now, we have to cast blame out of our life. It's a tricky thing, because there's times when we got to say, Benjamin Netanyahu, stop killing people. Call for a ceasefire today, guys. Ceasefirenow.com. It takes less than 2 minutes to call the representative, to get on the hotline listed on that website, to type in your zip code and just say, hi, secretary, I have a message for the representative. Are you ready to pass it? And they say, yeah, sure. And then you just say, you probably hear this a lot, but please tell them to call for a ceasefire today in Gaza. And this is what I said yesterday. I don't even like to get political, by the way, but there's no reason we should be spending our taxpayer dollars funding this war or killing innocent people. And that's my message. And the call was less than 2 minutes. And you can sign the petition with just your email. I know sometimes it's hard to talk to strangers, but world peace, man. This is what I'm saying. We can't blame Benjamin because Benjamin's fucking confused. But we have to do something to stop this evil fucking man from killing more people. Is this shit making sense? Is this real enough? Whoa. Thank fucking God for this weed, bro. I'm not about to start crying, man, but I want to. My soul is screaming right now, so we're about to smile. When you feel absolutely fucked up, man, lift your spirit and just smile. Because I'm holding this tree, man, and mom is crying. This earth is fucking suffering. This tree's holding me right now, for real. It says, talk your shit. The tree told me today just to call the tree. I said, is there something else I should call you? And tree said no. So tree basically said, mom is cool. She's going to be all right. Just keep talking your shit, Mark. We've seen this shit before. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, man. I want to show you guys one of my prized possessions right now. I got a new keychain. And it is a cube. It's the cube of Rubik. And I've never solved one of these in this life, and I will. And I'm just excited because I know life is a puzzle. And while I have this thing attached to my keys, it's hard for me to be really upset because there's still work to be done. Like, and I love work. I'm a Virgo rising. When I'm done with the work, I'll feel a lot better, and I'll probably get the 4x4 cube or the 5x5 or the 6x6, you know? It's all good, man. I'm not trying to be, like, personal, but some of you guys need to learn how to be funny or learn how to play a game or have fun. Because that's the problem. And I can only project what's going on inside of me. So that says more about me than you, doesn't it? The moon's in Gemini right now, guys. I hope we're having a good time. But the moon is square to Saturn and Lilith and Mars. So what the fucking shit? Damn. Are you freaking kidding me? What the heck, bro? Oh, that is a white-tailed doe. Have you guys ever gotten close to a deer? I want to know. Because I've probably gotten, like, maybe this far from a deer. Like, almost close enough to touch it. I don't think I've, maybe, like, plus a few feet. But I was just thinking, how cool would it be to hug a deer if a deer was really down to clown, try to hug you back? I just saw an image of deer, like, standing up and fighting. So, like, maybe you don't want to try to hug a deer. You know? I don't know where we got here. Oh, yeah. I said, what the heck, bro? And then I said, that's a doe. And then I went off into deer land. So basically, there's some hard aspects to the moon today. So I hope you guys are having a good day. Anytime the moon goes into Gemini, Pluto in Sagittarius is going to be having their full Pluto moon phase. And you could watch the video I posted yesterday with Debbie called Moon and Pluto and the Moon to get more information about that. Because you really need to understand the cycles. And I'm glad we can talk about the astrology today. But by the time you see it, the moon will move. Things will change. Everybody is different. So you have to understand your rhythm, your cycle, your timeline. Because it's not the same as mine. I've met people who were born even the same day as me on a different evolutionary path. I've met people born on different days as me with almost identical charts on different evolutionary paths. So I'm making the point that it's all about you, fam. And I'm glad I can talk about us, but ultimately it's about, you got to get your chart, you got to understand the blueprint, and then start watching how the gears move. You feel me? Because, you know, most people say, like, for instance, moon in Taurus is a great thing. And it is. Don't get me wrong. We love the moon in Taurus. And there's a reason the moon exalts in Taurus. And there's a reason Venus rules Taurus. I'm not going to explain it because the reason is there, challenging your reasoning. But, for example, when the moon goes into Taurus, I feel like shit 90% of the time. Let me tell you why. My natal Saturn is at 3 degrees of Taurus. So as soon as the moon goes into Taurus, I feel fucking depressed, bro. That shit echoes in my soul. And I'm like, oh, wow. Everyone's like, yeah, the moon's in Taurus, yay. And I'm like, don't make me remember my karma. And then Saturn's like, how could you fucking forget, bro? Shit gets really serious for me when the moon goes in Taurus. But enough about me, enough about the astrology. I think you guys get the point. Let the wind cleanse you. I was looking for my phone while I'm looking at the phone, while I'm talking to the phone. I'm like, what the hell is going on, bro? You guys know when you're like looking for your keys and they're in your hand and you're like running around the house and you start asking people where your keys are and they're like, bruh, it's in your actual hand. At least they're on me. All right, let's look at the questions for today, guys. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. And if you want to be on the next episode of the Venus Day Q&A, go to the link in the bio, join the Discord server. It's absolutely free. It just takes a little bit of energy, meaning like read the rules, copy the thing, say yes, you read and agreed with them, you'll get in for free. And then you can post in the Ask Mark section. And I detail the credentials because some people are not willing to do what it takes, where it's like, it's not free. I want to be very clear. You're going to have to click the button and you're going to have to read the rules and then agree to the rules. But if you can do that, you will be in no money besides your internet bill or whatever you pay for your device. Like, but you probably already got that covered. But let's get to the questions. Let's get it to them. I love you guys, man. So just thank you for sending these to me. We're only 18 minutes in and it's my show. So I'm learning more and more to be kind to myself. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck, maybe I'm going to just be so real, guys. Take it back to the personal thing before this first question. The storm inside of me, if I could be specific for you guys, has been challenging all these negative assumptions about life and about myself. Like, just for instance, me thinking that, maybe in the future I want to be past the personal part within 15 minutes. It's like, maybe that's a good idea. But the fact that that idea comes through my heart with a bunch of negativity and fear, that's reflecting a negative assumption in itself. So we got to do this damn shadow work, bro. That's the bottom line. You got to learn how to laugh. You got to learn how to be funny, man. So Venus Day Q&A. And this question comes from Tef. It sounds like Teflon, but I think it's short for Teflon. This comes from Tef McJeff. I love how 90% of the people who send in their questions for Venus Day Q&A have a first name that rhymes with their last name. And that'll probably change, of course. There's some outliers, but Tef McJeff says, hey, Mark, so what ways do you like to meditate with your partner, if you do? Also, how do you keep your ego healthy? What ways do you keep grounded when you aren't currently happy with your circumstance? And then this one is about an astrology. Yes, dude, let's take it one by one, Tef. I appreciate these. And I want to say, guys, for future episodes, I'm gonna need to do some updating in the Discord, and that's my plan for the weekend for a lot of things, for like affiliate links, cleaning up the channels, thumbnails, etc. Like I got a lot of things I want to do, so I'm gonna be doing some updates pretty soon over the weekend, guys. And I'm gonna hit these questions one by one. But my point I also want to say, guys, is like I know that there's a pin that comes in when you ask the questions in the thread that says don't ask personal questions, leave those for readings. My calendar's off right now, and I put that pin when the calendar was on. So now would be the time to ask your personal questions here. And you can get as specific as you want to or leave out the details. And like I'm doing right now, I'm making up names. So I think that would be a good thing for people to kind of be like, I'm X person in Y relationship. Z is happening. What would you do, Mark? What do you think? It's like, I love questions like that as well. So I just want to say that for those back home who love this show already and want to be more involved and have been kind of feeling like they can't ask the questions that they could ask. So let's take it one by one. And this one says, how do you like to meditate with your partner if you do? And there's a million ways to do it. I like to sit next to them. That's a really fun way. You could also sit across, but when I meditate with my queen, it's usually like side by side. But what's cool is that, the aura is so big that, even meditating with someone in the room a lot of times is like meditating with them. So this also opens up the convo. Like a lot of things could be considered meditation that we don't think of because it's not cross-legged and like in Om, but pardon me, just staring into someone's eyes can be very meditative. Connecting with someone mentally can be kind of meditative. If they're connecting with you simultaneously, that can be a great way to exchange energy and clear your channels. I love this question. I was so jazzed seeing at the end of the last Q&A where I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to save this one for the next one. And then also sending each other healing on that note, that can be a great way to meditate as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend you guys meditate every day, but meditate with your partner for sure. So how do you keep your ego healthy? And that's a very good question. And there's a lot of nuance to it because I love the words you're choosing. I understand what you mean when you say ego. And I feel like I understand what you mean when you say healthy. Ego is a part of life. Ego is a part of being. If you want to get astrological with it, your ego is your sun. It's a container for the spirit. So it's not you, but as you live this life, you will have to take that form and you'll have to identify as it, and it will shape and mold through your experiences. And that's vitally important to understand because ego is identity. Ego is who you think you are, basically, among other things. In order to keep your ego healthy, you need to know who you are. That's really the first thing. And then the more complicated part is keeping it real with yourself, because life is going to teach you, life is going to force you to change, evolve, become a different person, things of that nature. So if you resist the experiences, if you don't like to learn, if your identity becomes so fixed, and I say this as a Leo, if your identity becomes so fixed, if you're so resistant to change, you could be a bad person for practical terms. And you wouldn't even know it because you're so attached to who you think you are. And then everybody else would be an enemy or an opposition, So really, you have to self-reflect to have a healthy ego. Spending time by yourself, journaling, thinking about your thoughts is how you keep your ego healthy. And then also you need to pour love into yourself because, the ego is shaped and molded. It's conditioned by things and your whole life revolves around the identity. So you have to show through actions self-love. You have to take care of yourself, and that's going to mean something different to everybody. But above all else, I would just say to keep a healthy ego, you have to keep a healthy identity. speak to yourself. Mirror talks was the first thing I thought of when I read the question, but it takes a little bit of nuance to even explain that. When you're talking to yourself in the mirror, you should be reinforcing your identity, knowing who you are, because this leads into your next question. You said, what ways do you keep grounded when you aren't happy with your circumstances? Yesterday, I'm gonna tell you, I woke up feeling fucked up. Moon in Gemini, and my Pluto's in Sagittarius at like 5 degrees. So when the moon went into the early Gemini and opposed my Pluto, that shit fucking hurted, bruh. That shit was ass. If I'm just being real with you, man, I felt dead on the inside. I felt so fucking pissed. I'm happy in my life, by the way. Like, things are good for me. Things are actually great for me, and they're literally getting better all the time. But I woke up feeling not okay. Wasn't happy. I just felt like the depth of Pluto. I'm thinking in the future. I'm in my head. I know where I want to go. I'm not there right now, etc. Like, I also just really woke up I don't want to say overslept, because I'm grateful I can make my own schedule as an entrepreneur, which is, thank God for me and my team. But I digress. I overslept, meaning like I was just overtired when I woke up, grouchy, feeling dead on the inside, hate the world. Basically what you're saying, unhappy with my current circumstances. The first fucking thing I did, dude, Tef, is I went to the mirror. Like, after getting out of bed, I jump right into my rituals. And, you know, I say my prayers, say my thanks, and I run to the mirror because I gotta take my vitamins, brush my teeth, etc. And I'm like, what's going on, Mark? You know, the first thing, I don't even know what to say when the storm's going on inside of me, but I just started the conversation with myself because I know I'm a person. So just that simple action in itself reinforces your identity when you say hi, Tef, or hi, Mark, or hi, Stacy. And that is your own name, because you know your name, you'll respond to your name. So I had a good conversation with myself, and it set my day up for success. I had a great day yesterday, even though it felt awful, you know. And I was texting, I think I was talking to my friend even on the phone, but I was telling them that, you know, my attitude was like a 13 out of 10, but my emotions were like a negative 6 billion, you know, because just because you don't feel it doesn't mean you can't do it or manufacture a way to feel it. You know, I choose to be positive, but it's not always going to be positive on the inside. So what I did was I first set the stage, and a conversation was needed for me just to have some balance and understanding, where I literally talked to myself. I said, hey, Mark, how are you doing? What's going on? And sometimes just asking myself these questions really frees myself up to think better, because I need to know, and I might not even know what I need to know, but just by asking questions, I can start the convo with myself. So I was like, I can see something's going on inside of you, bro. You're an amazing person. I know we talk every day. You're so cool. You take so much effort and initiative to do good things. You help a lot of people. You're an amazing person in my book. I love you. I respect you. You always can change, etc. Like, I really take the time to speak love and life into myself. And I said, I know things feel absolutely fucked up. And I got really personal and specific about how I actually felt. But I was like, yeah, bro, I know some of this feels like hatred on the inside too. So don't let this world ever make you feel like you hate yourself, because that's not fucking acceptable. I know I had that conversation with myself yesterday, and it changed my day. So mirror conversations, they're like an answer to a lot of your questions, for real. That also, you may want to go with your partner in the mirror and speak love and life into each other. Do your affirmations where you can affirm things to your partner and have them affirm them to themselves. I like doing that with my partner too, because you guys are meant to build each other up, and identity is a big part of that. Who do y'all think each other are? And you need to make sure you're congruent with who you self-identify as. And if there's dissonance and disconnect between those two things, man, the love will not work out. And y'all know this, but I'm just gonna say the shit people are scared to talk about, apparently. You know, think about it. It's like if you are Batman and you think you got Catwoman, but Catwoman identifies as Wonder Woman, that almost fucks up the whole Marvel universe. And I meant DC. But maybe it does, because that sounds like a continuity error. to me. Because they did a Marvel DC bridge episode. So those universes are linked, man. And you can't fuck around like that. You gotta play your fucking role. And that means, what role did you even sign up for, man? Because if you're like on the show and you're like reading the script for Noah the Barbarian and it's fucking like a Disney musical or some shit like that, you know, there can be some conflict. So I think you guys get the picture. But another answer, what do you do when you're not happy with your circumstances? You get your ass outside. When things are hot inside, you go outside. Remember that. And you reconnect to your roots, you connect to nature. I think there's a photo shoot over there. How cool. Everybody is out making content in the woods, in the park. Go to a local park. Go to a national park. Go to an international park. That's your answer. And you also asked an astrology question and said, you have progressed Saturn in the second house. So for Venus Day, how can you open yourself up to be more comfortable with the pleasures of the world? And bruh, I got a Saturn in Taurus. So you asked the right man. Story of my fucking life. How do me asking God, literally, God, how the fuck do I open myself up and be more comfortable with the pleasures of the world? And that's fucking rough sometimes. To even ask that question says a whole lot of bullshit, dude. And it's a decision to live your life fully. That's simply what you need. You know what's crazy? Never mind. We'll talk about it later. It'll come up, don't even worry. So, deciding to live your life to the fullest. And I think when it comes to the Saturn energy, you know, fear plays a part in this conversation as well. But live your life to the fullest, you're going to have to really get comfortable receiving more. And that might be uncomfortable. So taking time to literally indulge, that's something to think about. Like, I'm out here eating the fruit and I brought some nice healthy snacks. But don't get me wrong, guys. When the moon was in Taurus the other day, I think I ate like actual shit. Like, not literally, but what the hell did I get? Bro, they had like, this is embarrassing, but I'm going to keep it G real with you guys. I'm not ashamed of myself. So I'm not going to be embarrassed about being embarrassed. What the hell? But McDonald's, dog. And already off to a bad start, man. But McDonald's had the 40-piece on a special. And I know that sounds, and this is some Saturn Taurus logic, bro. Like, it sounds like you're saving money. So I paid like maybe $11 for 40 nuggets, which doesn't even sound feasible if you really think about it. But I knew as I was making that purchase that shit cost my health $30. So I knew it wasn't saving money, of course. Here comes the train. Send your manifestations on the train and let the train take it that away. Thank you, spirits of travel. Thank you, Mercury. Eshu, Loki, Hecate, thank you so much for blessing us in this liminal space. Yes. Keep a smile on your face, man, and know that you will receive everything that your heart yearns for. Sometimes we lack the words to ask for what we want. God sees you yearning. It's on its way to you now. Be open to receive things better than what you think you want, okay? And that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Saturn in the second, I would say save your money as well. Spend your money. Make different accounts in your bank account. Subdivide your bank account or make multiple bank accounts. But in addition to saving money, you should also set up another account, or, you know, save to, this is what I mean. Save to save in one account, but save to play in a different account. Get your money working towards playing. And here's one rule for the play account. You have to spend it every month. So you don't get to fucking hoard that money like another saving account. There's so many birds flying around. They're playing in the water now. Splash, yeah, they're just, bro, they're literally just fucking around. I'm like wondering what the hell are these birds doing? They literally just landed in the water. They splashed around, then they flew off. They're just fucking around. That's the message. Go take you and your family or loved ones off to a water park or go to an aquarium or do something crazy. Like, you save some of that money just to fuck around and have fun. Because if Saturn is going through your second right now in progression, you may be worried about money. And that's pretty fucked up, because if that shit starts affecting your self-worth and identity, I can say from Sun Square Saturn, that shit'll fuck your world up. And that's no way to live, feeling like you're not good enough. Go get your hair or nails done, or buy yourself a nice watch or something. Treat yourself. Eat well. You know what I mean? I feel like you know what I mean. I appreciate these questions, so thank you so much for kicking us off to an amazing start this time. I appreciate you, Tef. I'm not gonna say your name, dude, but it's like, if people are looking at this shit, like, it's not that creative, man, but I'm working on getting more creative. It's so funny. They're back and they're fucking splashing around. I'm eating this now so I don't forget to eat it later. And I also was thinking, the food content on the internet does so well. So I need to be doing food content, either like making food or eating food. And sometimes I question if my content is good enough, but then I remember there's people who literally don't say anything, or they say a bunch of nonsense bullshit, and all they're doing is stuffing their face with 40 chicken nuggets, and they're getting millions of views. And I'm just like, damn, why do I think so fucking hard, bro? It doesn't make sense. Damn it. Will we bless this incense to bless the world? Let's see it before we do it. If you didn't call the representative yet, you still have time. If it's the daytime, and if it's the nighttime, hit that website, ceasefirenow.com, or Google it, and then just send that petition with your email. You know, sight is an action, but I'm trying to emphasize, man, if we want to make this world better, it can start today with actions. Post your content, go outside, share a hug with a stranger, within reason. You know, keep your wits about you. Sometimes I be like so optimistic, I'm like, I dial it back, because we know how this world works. But my ultimate message here is to share positivity, but I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. So let's move on to the next question. Next question. And this question comes from Horseshoe Thunderberry. Horseshoe says, how do you know if you've met somebody in a past life through your natal chart? Are there planets or houses in specific? That's a really good question. In the natal chart specifically, which basically means synastry chart, checking it out that way, and then looking at composite perhaps. South node is one thing to definitely consider, and the north node, because this is the axis of fate in the chart, showing us the past and then the future, either way you want to look at it. So to answer the question, how do you know if you met somebody before? The nodes are going to tell you a whole lot. And also know that Saturn is karmic. It's karmically linked in someone's life. So aspects to the nodes or Saturn is a very good indication. Like, for instance, you could have the same south node as somebody, or you could have one of their planets making a hard aspect to your nodes. Maybe it's conjunct the north node, or opposite the node, or it's square the node. You know, that could be an indication that you guys maybe have met before. But apart from that, Pluto for sure. Pluto is a soul thing. So basically everything I said about Saturn could probably be applied to Pluto as well. And really before, because you asked it specifically, Mr. Thunderberry, you asked specifically about the natal chart. This question, I feel, is really one of those things where you just have to look somebody in the eye, and that's your answer. That's really the best way to know it. intuitively see into the person and register that feeling. Second would be the natal chart is a decent way to look at it. But I would also consider praying about it, asking spirit about it, meditating upon it, and then going to the Akashic records through your meditation and journey work. And that's a whole nother video in itself, but the gist is that basically everything that ever happened is recorded in the universe somewhere. So all the information is already out there, and you can actually go access it. And you can confirm or deny. Do I know this person? Have we had have our souls connected before now? Or is this the first time? You can find that answer truly. And it's a little bit faster than going to the natal chart. The charts only reflect what's already happening, so ultimately you go right to their eyes, right to spirit, get the answer, and then check the chart to verify it. Because the composite chart even shows on some level the purpose for you connecting. And I bring that up to say that there's so many different types of relationships, and people relate for a multitude of different reasons. So it's always going to be contextual, and you're going to have to kind of just make it make sense based on who it is and who you are. So I hope that answers your question. Sometimes I try to get so technical with it. I feel like it is probably far answered already, but thank you. Appreciate you, friend. And this question comes from Steflon Pond. I'm looking at this pond with this duck. Because when I said Tef earlier, I was thinking about Teflon Don, or like Steflon. Who the fuck am I talking? This is Teflon Pond. Teflon Pond. That's what I don't know, man. Mr. Pond, Mrs. Pond, pardon me, says I'm having too much fun with this part of the show, man. This is like my favorite part of this show is like, I love the questions, but when I get to make up names, dude, on the spot, that's fun for me. All right, so Mrs. Pond said, would 5 planets within 20 degrees from 1st to the 5th count as a stellium? Yes, it would. And I wrote about this in my book, and if you haven't listened to it yet, check out my profile. It's Simplified Astrology Volume 1. It's absolutely free. But there's a lot of technical rules that come with a stellium and a lot of other aspects. It just depends on who you ask. If you want my professional opinion, fuck yeah. Yeah, you got yourself a stellium on your hands. Even if they were 30 degrees, you'd still have a stellium as long as they're in the same sign. That's my rule. Yeah, this is my rule for a stellium. And feel free to use it. And feel free to make your own fucking rules, apparently. I could substantiate these with logic, and I'm going to try to do so and not make this video fucking suck at the same time. But 3 or more planets in the same sign is basically a stellium. I say basically because some motherfuckers are like, but you can't count the sun, because they're like, the sun is always conjunct Mercury, technically, by 28-degree orb, It's just stupid bullshit. People like get so fucking uptight about, but my way of astrology is better. My orbs are so much better. Look at it how I look at it. Just quit thinking different thoughts than I think. Stop liking what I don't like. You know what I mean? It's like, it's dumb. But yeah, that's how I break it down. It's like, as far as I don't even want to say rules, but just defining the term, to me a stellium is 3 or more planets or celestial bodies in one sign at a time. So you could even have, like, by my definition, the sun at like 1 or 0 Aries, and then you could have like Mars and Venus at the 29th degree of Aries, and that would still be a stellium. And by some astrologers' definition, that's like not a stellium, and it's just a conjunction with another planet in the sign. And to that astrologer, I say, fuck you, fight me. No, I'm playing. Like, no, but that's how people treat this shit. It's stupid. It's like they take it way too damn serious. I was like, we can agree to disagree, but by technical rules, the closer aspect is to 0, the more pronounced it's going to be. So if you had 3 planets, let's say like Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, all on the same degree of a sign with a 0-degree orb, you'd probably have 0 people debate you that it's a stellium. The only people that would debate you are just trying to be an asshole or try to get attention or something. So yeah, you definitely got a stellium. 5 planets within 20 degrees from 1st to the 5th, that's probably stellium as fuck, because at least 3 of them are probably within like a 10-degree orb, if I had to guess. I like the questions about like technical things. So this question comes from Because of Winn-Dixie, just like the movie. You must be a fan. And they said, how far of an orb between 2 planets? And this is actually dope because we were just talking about orbs. And I respect a person who can really sit there and ponder the fucking orb. It takes a different type of person to do that. So it depends on how you operate and think. How high can you count? I'm gonna leave it at that. And this question comes from Tony Claxton. And Tony Claxton says, Mr. Meyer, are you doing okay? I must have missed you on live. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Thanks, Tony. I hope you're doing good, Tony. How you doing, Tony? Tone, my man. Mr. Claxton. I haven't heard that name in ages. This question. This question comes from Daniel Nathaniel. And they said, if you're down to talk about what we did at WVP, that might be an interest as a question. I think, and that's an inside joke. So we may have some more content coming pretty soon. Because I was like, I think I said too much, but I haven't said enough. So Daniel Nathaniel says, what's the best way to help spirits move on or clean out negative energy in a space? Or negative entities? There's a lot of ways. The first way is just to say, get the fuck on, bruh. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, you could. That is the first thing a lot of people try, actually, is like, it depends on where you are. It's always contextual, but if it's just negative energy, sunlight is probably your best bet to flood the place with sunlight, the cleansing, healing power of the sun. If you can't get sun into the place, like it's a building or a basement or a cave or something like that, you may have to bring in your own lights in a different way. But you could do sound cleansing, like singing bowls or drums or gongs. A gong is one of the best ways to break up dense energy. Even music can break up dense energy. Chanting, praying can be a good way to do it. But there's even rituals that you can do magically to cleanse the energy of a space, which we can talk more about later. But smoke is a good way to cleanse the space. And really, the entity or spirit question, that's a more technical and nuanced question, where it's like, it matters what kind of spirit is there and for what reason, truly. Some spirits are just disembodied humans, like souls that are having a hard time transitioning and then they just linger around the physical. Some of them just need something, whether that's, an explanation or some guidance or some energy, or to finish something that they're doing before they move on. Some of them don't want to move on. That's my point. Some of them want to be there, and they may not really respond well to you just saying, hey, get the fuck out of here, Tony. You know what I mean? It's like, Tony says, hey, bitch, fuck you. I'm walking here. The fuck you gonna tell me to move? I ain't even got no fucking legs, man. Fuck you. Tony's doing his best up here. Fuck you, man. You know what I mean? So, same way you deal with people, try to apply that to how you deal with spirits. Come in peace, offer blessings, but take no shit, accept no harm. Sometimes I'm like, hey, man, I was being nice, Tony. I was trying to be nice, Tony, but don't make me think I ain't gonna open up a fucking column and bust your ass out of here, bitch. I run the show, Tony, not you, bitch. You shouldn't even be here, Tony. That's really how it goes. Those apples bust, bro. This person is called Alfred Bonanzo. Alfred Bonanzo says, should I charge my crystals in the eclipse? It's really up to you. Should is a weighted question. So I'm going to try to just give you a decent answer and say that it's up to you if you want the energy in your crystals. I think that's an ant on my phone trying to get the knowledge. Oh yes, trying to be a part of my video. He just wants clout. So yeah, it depends. I would trust your intuition, but if you really need to charge your crystals, like if they need energy, like the eclipses are the best time. But this video is after the eclipses, so you gotta wait till the next time, basically, which will be like months from now. So it's up to you, ultimately. Thanks, Alfred, for asking the question. Cool, guys. This question comes from Tamara Talltree. Tamara Talltree says, I was thinking Tia and Tamara, but this person's name is Tamara. Tall like a tree. Would love to hear, how is my first week or so going in the mystery school? And it's going good. And it sounds counterintuitive to talk about it, but the school is not a mystery or a secret. The school is of the mysteries. We study the mysteries. Templeofwitchcraft.org for whoever's interested. It's going amazing. Studying the element of air right now. And my mind is so full of ideas. Things are going so fast. I like have to sit down by the tree to integrate it all. It's mind-blowing. I feel like I've been mind-fucked. It's crazy. I love it though. What excitement, intrigue has it lit in me so far. It makes me want to fight harder. It makes me want to tell everybody to call for a ceasefire right fucking now. Truly. It makes me want to communicate, use my voice even better. Use my platform even better. It makes me want to teach more. What modalities of magic is the school focused in on? I would say practical magic. Because modality, I may have to ask you what that means, modality. It's very practical magic. It's great. I'm doing it. I recommend it. I love it. I have a video on my channel talking about how my last year went. It's the water element. You'll see the thumbnail. It's about W3. So that's a good question. We're getting close to that point, guys. We're getting close to that point. So you're going to have to make sure you send in your next questions for the next Venus Day Q&A number 6 to make sure that I can get you that time, okay? Ooh, pardon me. If the question is respectful and you genuinely want to know the answer, no questions are off limits as long as you're not harming anybody in the process or encouraging some shit that you know is bad. You get me? So I would love to read you guys' questions and be able to answer them next time. And this one's an astrology question. These are both astrology questions. I'm going to answer this one because This one also came from Tony Claxton. So before I get off of this video, I'm going to answer Tone's question, or at least try to do it to the best of my ability, because I see that we're almost to the hour point. So I'm going to do this one and then make sure these next astrology ones go to the next episode, okay? So we're going to have plenty of time for you guys to send in them for next time, but definitely load them up, because if you want them in the next one and not have to push them to the one after that, get them ASAP. But this is Mr. Claxton, and he says, "Good evening, Mr. Meyer. I was just sitting here thinking, I'm curious on your beliefs and thoughts of the afterlife, space, dimensions. Do you believe your destiny, you're reborn over and over and over, and there, I'm sure people call it many things, but I call it enlightenment. And do you believe you're transcendent, another dimension, or another time and space, or rebirth forever?" Whatever that means. Hope this made sense. I knew what I was trying to say. I feel you, Mr. Claxton. I feel you. Like, reincarnation is what this feels like to me. And what's crazy, really fucking crazy, is that when you get to that point and you shuffle off the mortal coil, you'll be so dead, you probably won't even give a damn. And maybe you will give a damn, but either way, a lot of these questions we're asking on our phones aren't gonna matter at that point, right? I think reincarnation is a thing. Beliefs are interesting because a belief might not necessarily be true. It's just the thing that you believe in. It's the world you be living in. So when I die, it's going to be hard for Mark to come back and tell you what happens, but I think I will take birth again in some form. Not religious, but in the Bhagavad Gita, it's written to lament not for the dead, because he or she who takes birth and dies will do that shit again. And, maybe the Christians don't see it that way. And they think that after you die, you'll be contained in a vessel, put on a jar in God's kingdom, and you can call that salvation. Limiting yourself that way into a box or a realm or a jail cell called hell or purgatory or the underworld or stuck to the physical plane, sitting in a house somewhere pissed off because you would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling fucking kids. Like, who knows? It's a fascinating concept to study. What you're saying makes sense to me totally, Mr. Claxton. But Tony, my question for you is, how the fuck are we gonna heal these broken souls, man? Because I think some people need to come back here, because they may not fulfill their evolutionary purpose in one lifetime, necessitating even them to come back into another form to continue to grow as a soul. But for those that are living on the earth, still kicking and breathing, screaming even, like, how can we help these people to get better and to change their lives and to be a brighter light and a better source of hope and goodness for others? How do we create better leaders, man? I'm gonna leave you guys with a shit ton of questions. You wanna ask me questions? Let me ask you some questions, guys, back home. Leave them in the comments, your answers, because I would love to know. How do we create better leaders? How do we become a better leader ourselves? And how do we help these broken souls on the planet? And because I try to answer these questions to the best of my ability. I want to know from you guys, how do you live your life to the fullest? In what ways can you live a better life? In what ways can you accept the blessings that life has for you and live a more pleasurable and enjoyable life? I would love to know. Hit me in the comments. It's your boy, Mr. Meyer, with the fire. Blessed be.